So welcome to Pilates for week 2. Week 2 of challenge 2. So today, since our last practice was very much standing and a lot of legs and a lot of glutes, today's class is going to be on the floor. So make sure you've got a little bit of room and something reasonably cushy to rest on. So if you're on a hard floor, make sure you've got a mat or some towels or something. So we come down to lying. Remember, Pilates breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And we come into that Pilates breath, plant the feet, and draw your hip bones towards each other. So we're switching on that T-zone. So pull in the transverse abdominis and then pull up through the pelvic floor. Activate. We inhale here. Then exhale. Just imprint the spine. Then we inhale. Exaggerate the curve. We do this a lot, but it's nice to wake up the core gently. Good. We inhale. Exaggerate your curve. Tilt the pelvis forward. Exhale. Tuck it under and press that lower back. Inhale. Open it up. Exhale to tuck it. Good. Inhale. Exhale. And just 5 more. Move with your breath. Just exaggerating and then pressing down through the curve. Good. 3 more. 2. So deep breath. Last one. Good. And then we inhale to come back to neutral. Excuse my voice, I've been talking a lot the last couple of days. So from here, keep the hands on the hips. We inhale, float one foot off, and exhale, plant the leg. Inhale, float the other leg off, and exhale, plant. So the movement is all at the hip. Nothing is changing at the knee. Nothing is changing through that lower back. So we're staying in that neutral position of the spine. So there might be a slight little curve or slight little arch, but it's not changing as you lift or lower each leg. We inhale, exhale. Just do 2 more. Just being kind and gentle to start, lulling you into false sense of security maybe. And 1 more. Good. And then we inhale, draw the right leg in, then exhale, extend it out on the mat. Inhale, draw it in, exhale, extend it out. Good. Inhale in, exhale to reach. If you like, if it makes it easier, just extend towards the sky. If you can keep that control, then stay on the mat, or towards the mat rather. Good. 5, 4, make sure those hips aren't rolling around. 3, so everything else is really still, controlled. 2, and last 1. Good, then we inhale, lift the leg all the way up. Exhale to flex and lower the leg. So again, just checking in. If it does get too hard to maintain that lower back, as you lower the leg, don't go so low. So limit the range of motion before you let anything change through the core. So it's more important. The closer it is to the center, right, the more important it is. So the rest is just kind of fancy pants. The core is what we're meaning to challenge. Good. 5 more. And lower. Move slow. 4. Good. 3. 2. And last 1. Good. Then lift. Bend the knee. And plant that foot. Good. Now we inhale, lift the left knee in. Exhale, extend the leg out. Inhale, bend it back in. Exhale to extend. Remember, to make it easier, just extend to the sky. So it's your call, which version you do. So always listening to your own body. Tune in and figure out what's going on. So you're working to what's happening today. So always allowing the body to be different day to day. It will change according to all sorts of things. Just 3 more of these. 2. And last 1. Good, then bring it in. Extend the leg. Exhale, flex and lower. Good, inhale. Point and raise. Exhale, flex and lower. Good, so that right leg not moving, pelvis not moving, lumbar spine not moving, everything else is really still. Good, lift. Exhale to lower, maintain the steadiness. So we move slow with purpose and control. Good, 5 more. And lower. 4, down. 3, good, 2, and last one. Good. Then we inhale, bring that leg back in. Nice exhale. Good, we inhale, lift the right foot in, and then we exhale, lift the left leg in. So from here, it might feel quite natural to get a little bit more of an imprint, or you can keep the neutral, but we're actually coming into knees and hips, knees and feet rather, a hip distance apart. That works better. So we inhale, exhale, lower the leg, inhale, exhale, switch. So if you're not finding it challenging enough, just add a little teeny extend through the knee as you come down. So rather than keep the knee angle the same, we actually extend it out just a teeny bit. So almost like you're reaching the heel towards the end of the mat. So you're not after a full extension, but just a little extra. So you're just creating a longer lever there, so it's just making it a little more weight to control. If that doesn't appeal to you, then feel free to not do that and just keep the knees at the same angle. And again, if it does get too challenging to maintain that lumbar, to keep everything else still, then just make the movement smaller. There's no prizes for touching the feet or touching the toes on the ground more than anybody else. It's just work with what you've got. Good, now we add the arms in, so we reach the hands high, inhale, exhale. I do favor these moves because they are so good for the brain as well as the body. So lower, engage that T-zone. So ideally we're using the core to lift and lower the legs, not the thighs. So aiming to not be hip flexors, use the abs. So adjust and be conscious. Be aware, be really mindful about what is going on in the body, which muscles are starting to speak to you. Because we have been doing these variations of our dying bug for a little while now, so chances are good they're going to be starting to talk to you. Hopefully you can hear them over my voice. Good, and we just do 2 more each side. Good, and 1 more each side. Nice, then we inhale, exhale, hug the knees in. Have a little mini moment, rocking from side to side. Good, and then coming back to center. We come back to our tabletop. Now remember, you can come back to those alternating legs and ditching the arms. You can come back to any of the previous versions that we've just been doing. Or if you want to make it even more challenging for yourself, lower both arms, both legs. So it is a common sequence in my classes, and that's because it's really effective, and it's actually really good for muscle activation patterns. So when we're learning to move, when we're infants, we create muscle patterns in the body. So hopefully we've created healthy ones, sometimes not so much. So these movements are actually creating those muscle activation patterns that are healthy for us. So the core switches on, hopefully, before we do anything else in our daily lives. So the core is key to strong everything. And we just do 3 more. 2. And last one. Good. Inhale. And exhale, come in. Hug those knees in. So we get a little bit of a rock from side to side. I'm going to have to rearrange myself here. So now we're going to exaggerate the rocking from side to side. So we're coming back into that dying bug position. And so we reach hands to the ceiling, legs are in tabletop, shoulder width apart for the hands, hip width apart for the legs. Good, so we inhale, exhale, rolling to one side, and we lift. Good, inhale to come back to center, exhale, switch sides, come up onto that elbow. So we try to keep all of the angles the same, all of the width the same. Just be mindful that the legs aren't sneaking into the body. So this is really starting to work obliques as well. So rolling onto the back and up to the back and up. Good. Now I'm not sure if you can hear the music in the background, but it is my GC Pilates playlist. So it is all Gold Coast artists, all of those poor folk who are sort of struggling a little bit now that all live gigs are cancelled. So if you want to help support them, feel free to find it on Spotify, listen along. You'd be surprised how many talented musicians we have around the coast, I think. So there's some really brilliant acts, and some of them work really well for the yoga and Pilates playlist for me. Good, we do 2 more each side, and up. Good, so hopefully starting to feel that core, those obliques switching on. 1 more each side. Good, and lift. Good, and then we roll back to center, then come all the way onto one side. Now, check in with your alignment here, so where the elbow is and in line. Then you might want to scoot back, I know I do, because you want to be on the cushioned part. So keep that same alignment. We did do this in a DNS inspired practice earlier. Keep that alignment. We inhale, keep the thighs parallel to each other. Exhale to come up as if you're coming onto hands and knees. Inhale, almost to the ground. Exhale, come up. So be careful to not let the hand touch first and then use the arm to lift you up. We want to use the hip and that bottom waist. So it's a little bit glutes and it's a little bit obliques. Good. And up. Coming down and lift. Good. We lower and lift. So if you need to keep adjusting because you tend to start to lose that alignment now and then just shift around as you need. Really 7 more. 6, 5, good, 4, lift, 3 more, 2, nice, and last 1, good, and then coming down, and then we are going to switch sides, so if you can just roll onto your back and then switch sides, then feel free to do that, and roll up onto the other side. I'm just going to switch ends of the mat. Good. So finding that alignment, find the thighs rather parallel to each other. Ooh, good sore. So the arms are out. Inhale. Exhale to come up. As if you're coming onto those hands and knees. Inhale. Exhale up. Good. Almost to the ground. And lift. So if you do need to, you can come down, have a little moment, and then come back up. But just be really careful. I tend to find it easier to just keep moving rather than stop and start, because once I stop, I just want to stay stopped. So try to keep moving, even if you have to make the movements a little bit smaller. So even if you don't come all the way down, or not quite as far down, even if you stop halfway and then come up, just try to keep moving if you can. But do pause if you need. Good, 7 more. And left. 6, up. 5, 4, 3, lift it. 2, and last 1. Nice. Now this time we come on to the hands and knees. Good. So from here, the hands will be underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. So our usual alignment for hands and knees. So from here, now have the idea when your hands are planted on the ground, have the idea like you were like Mr. Miyagi wax off, but trying to turn your hands towards the pinky fingers. So they're planted on the ground, nothing actually happens in terms of movement of the hands, so they're still facing where they're facing, but the engagement that you get from having that active, trying to externally rotate, is really protecting your shoulders here. So we want to strengthen those muscles around the shoulders. So again, it is still creating those little muscle patterns that are ideal for all these other things that we do that may or may not already be there. So the knees are underneath the hips. Tuck the toes. We inhale, lift the knees off the ground, lift through the center of the chest. Really screw those hands into the ground and hold it there. 4, keep breathing. But 3, 2, keep the neck long. So you're looking kind of just in front of the hands on the ground. 1 more. Good. Then we inhale to lower. And we're going to increase the challenge with that from there. So from here, keeping those toes tucked, lift through the center of the chest. So that sternum, push it towards the ceiling, engage those shoulders, lift the knees, inhale, exhale, extend one leg behind you. Inhale, bring it in, exhale, switch. So you're really keeping those hips steady so they don't get to move around as you extend. So there's a lot to concentrate on, keeping those hips still, keeping that core in, keeping those arms, hands screwing in to the ground. Belly's in. A little bend in the elbows if you do tend to hyperextend. And just be mindful how high you're lifting those knees. So we don't want the bum in the air. We want to keep it all flat. Good. And we do one more each side. Nice. And then knees down. And just press back to a shell for a moment. Give yourself a little rest. Whether your knees are together or wide, doesn't matter, but choose. And just let the body release for a moment. Relax it down here. Relax the shoulders. Deep, full breaths. 2 more here. One more. Good, then we inhale to come up onto the hands and knees. Good, so again, screwing those hands into the ground, tucking the toes. So we just come into our second round, we lift those knees and hold it there. This time we hold it for 10, lift up through the center of the chest. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, then lower the knee down. So now we bring the knee in line with bring the right knee in line with the right hand. Good, the foot is flat now, and from there we lift up onto that right hand. Good, and if you can, extend the left leg out. Find the balance. Woo. Do as I say, not as I do, right? So we find the balance. So we're trying to keep knee, foot, hand in line. Good, 4, lift the top hand if you like. 3, if you want to challenge it a little more, lift that leg. Pull the ribs in. 2 more breaths there. Last one. Good, then we inhale, come back. Line up that left knee with the left hand, left foot. Coming up onto that left side. Lift up through the hips. Reach the right hand high if you like, or right hand to the hip. And challenge it a little more with that leg lifting. And it is a challenge. Pull the ribs in, really engage the core, engage that shoulder. Screw that left hand into the ground. 3, 2, last one. Good, then we inhale, come back to center, and one more. So this is our quadruped or our bear. So we tuck the toes and lift those knees just an inch. Keep them quite low. Good. Actually, I just thought of one more variation. So we'll just hold this for 3 more, and then we'll come into that one. 1 more. Good, and then we lower the knees. Okay, so this is our lucky last one in the bear series. So once more, hands underneath the shoulders, screw the hands into the ground, tucking the toes, lift the knees. Now we inhale forward, exhale back. So try to keep those hips on the same plane of motion. So you're not lowering or lifting the hips, you're just coming forward and back, forward and back. So come onto the toes, keep the knees bent, press back to the balls of the feet. Toes and back. Good, just 5, press. 4, 3, 2, lift up through the center of the chest, and 1. Good, then center, knees to the ground, coming all the way down onto the belly now. So extend the legs out, sink it down. All right, so from here, we bring the arms out in front. So we have practiced this, I think, once before in another class. So the elbows, if your forehead was on the ground, the elbows would be where your eyes are. So you want them far in front of the shoulders. You're creating a bit of a diamond shape with the hands. So probably from your shoulders, elbows, hands, it's a nice little diamond. Good, so the forehead is on the ground. Feet stay on the ground. We inhale. And exhale, push into those elbows. So you're lifting through the chest. Keep the neck long. So you're just really engaging those shoulders. 4 more breaths here. So it's not necessarily meant to be a back bend where you crank through the neck. Just keep the neck long so your gaze is kind of at your thumbs, depending on how high your chest will go. 2 more here. The last one. Okay, then we come down, release. So we have 2 more versions of that. So it does get more challenging, so you can stay with that option if you like. If that's challenging enough around those arms and the shoulders, then feel free to stay with that option. Those who want to come and play, bend one knee in. So the knee is wide, the knee is on the ground, the foot is on the ground. Long leg toes touch. Keep the elbows. I can feel myself trying to sneak them in myself. So the temptation will be to sneak them under and then lift into a forearm plank, which is still nice for the core, but not quite the same. So we're going to challenge those arms more. So keep that diamond shape. Inhale, lift. So coming up, lift into a plank. Even if it's just an attempt, keep attempting. 4, 3, 2, 1 more, and lower. Good. So coming down. So you're staying with that, just the elbows and the chest lift option if you like. But if you did one side, then I highly recommend you doing the other side as well. So bend that knee in, tuck the toes. Good, and then we lift, holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower it down. Good. The best version of plank, I know. And then we bring the hands one on top of the other, and just let your forehead rest on the hands. Good, so we just round out our practice, staying on the belly. We inhale, exhale to lift the left leg, inhale to lower it, exhale, lift the right. So the movement is coming from the hip rather than the knee. So it's just a lift and a lower, lift and lower. Good, so moving slow, keep the body on the ground so nothing is changing, the head's not lifting, let it be heavy, let those arms stay connected to the ground. And I do apologize if you can hear the power tools in the background. This is an industrial estate where I'm filming, unfortunately, so now and then it gets a little noisy. And we just do 2 more each side. Lower, lift, lower, lift. 1 more, lift. Good. And now from there, we keep the forehead down, but we lift both legs and little flutters up and down. Good. So they're only small, being careful to move from those hips rather than the knees. Little flicker up and down, lower, lift, kick it out. Good. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Inhale. Exhale to lower. Good. Now from there, we turn the toes out, the heels in. Good. We inhale, lift the legs, and exhale. We heel tap. So we're coming in and out, little flutters, in, out, out. Good. Keep it moving. Keep the legs up. So again, the toes are out, the heels are in. Try to get that little bit of a turn out. Good. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Inhale. Exhale, release. Nice. So then we stay a little wider with the knees. Bend into the knees. So the heels touch, the toes stay out to the sides. Forehead still down. So the upper body is heavy. We inhale, inhale. Exhale, lift the feet towards the sky. So there's no movement at the knee. It's all at the hip. So you're lifting the thighs off the ground. So we inhale, exhale, lift. Lower, lift, lift. Good. And press. And press. Nice. We just have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Hold the legs high. We inhale. Exhale, extend. Inhale, heels tap. Exhale, extend. Good. Bend. Reach out. Good. 8. Extend. 7. Tap the heels rather. 6. Reach. 5. Extend it. 4. 3. Good. 2. Try to keep those thighs off. And 1. Nice. Then we bend. Bring it in. Release. Good. Take the hands under the shoulders and press it back, coming into a child's pose. So you're just pressing hips towards heels. Nice. And just let the body melt there for a moment. You take 5 breaths. So you can be a little active with the arms, reaching them out in front if you like. Get that length through your armpits and upper arms. So your choice. Or you can relax. And 2 more breaths there. And last one. Good. And we inhale to come onto the hands and knees. It's just a stretch, don't worry. We inhale, lift the right arm. And exhale, slide it through behind the left wrist. Come down onto that shoulder. Let the head relax on the mat. Reach down then. So from there, you can lift the left arm up and find a little twist, a little extra opening through the shoulder. If you like, wrap that arm around behind you. And if you can, catch the hip or the inner thigh. And just kind of grab that and create a little leverage there. Open it up a little more. And just 3 more breaths here. So 2. And last one. Good, then release the hand. Press it back to the ground. Inhale to lift all the way up. And exhale to release that hand. Good. Inhale. Left arm up. And exhale. Slide it through. Excuse the mic squash there. So again, add that lift of the right arm. Wrap it around. 4. Opening the chest. 2 more breaths here. Last one. And releasing the hand. Press the hand. Inhale. We lift all the way up. And exhale to release. Well done. And so if you do have that little moment to have some relaxation time, please feel free to do that. So really allowing yourself that little bit of rest as well as the activity. It's really important for your connective tissue and for the muscles as well. So thank you for playing.